Let me share with y'all today, well, what we're going to do today. That's a pretty fish. Pretty fish. They all are. Fishing is a sport second to none. First fish of the day, I broke the ice. It's a little small, well, 10.5-inch black crappie. And I caught him out of a tree here on the main lake. We're going to do a little main lake fishing today for crappie. These fish are pulling up. They're definitely wanting to spawn, but the weather conditions are knocking them off. They'll come up into their spawning areas, 3 to 4, sometimes 5 feet of water, to fan a bed, to spawn. And then all of a sudden, here we go, a big front comes in, the temperature drops. What do? They move, they pull out, they suspend. They suspend until the water temperature and conditions get stable enough to pull back in. And well, they'll pull back in and they'll try it again. So right now they're in a transition. They're in a transition period. I'm going to revive him a little bit. I've done a little too much talking. See what he'll do. Oh, he's fine. There he goes. Well, I tell you what, like I said, I made several casts at this tree with a weedless jig. This is a pink fannel made by Bobby Garland, red head, 1/32 of an ounce, with a Palomar knot, 4-pound test high vis line, and I'm using a 6-foot light action rod, Eagle Claw, and a cadence reel. And this is a weedless jig head. What I'm doing, because of the way the weather's been, folks, what I'm doing is casting up past over the tree. The trunk's running right through here. Then I'm going over the trunk, letting the jig fall into the branches. Just like that. I'm weaving that jig in and out of those branches that's coming off of that tree. Right now the surface temperature is at 58. It was at 63 a couple days ago. That don't sound like much, but it's enough to make these fish go back out and suspend, or the majority of them. There's a fish right there, but there's a few fish, as y'all can see in this top. Now I triggered that bite. That was a that crappie there quit. You stop it. Now I'm trying to explain. That crappie right there was not a catchable fish unless if I hadn't worked that jig through those branches to trigger that strike, he wouldn't have been able to be caught. Now that's a male. Now I want y'all to look. See, he's peeing. He peed a little bit. He's not really black. He's borderline immature, but now he's a male. He was up in that top. So let's let him go. We got a few fish in front of us, but I'm sure I'm going to have to hunt some other fish today. It's all about covering water and looking for these critters. Over the tree, let it fall down to the depth, and the depth is around 5 feet. Pick it up, let the jig fall back through the branches. See, I'm in some branches right now, and I'm just working it through them, waiting for that line to go boom. Let's look at the depth finder, and I'll show you how these main lake crappie do, or a lot of them. 11 feet of water, 58.36 water temperature. Okay, now this is a sandy shoreline, as y'all can see. Maybe y'all can see the light spots. It's certainly overcast. In fact, it's supposed to rain. It's a 60% chance of rain today. but that's a sandy shoreline. And that's what you're looking for on the main lake. Crappie love to bed in sand. Now they will bed in pea gravel if it's not too thick. If there's some sand in with the pea gravel or enough to dish out of bed. But they prefer these sandy shorelines. Not a mucky bottom, but sand, folks. All right, we're gonna let it fall, let it fall, let it fall in the branches. Pick it up. Let it fall. Pick the bait up and let it fall a few inches. I'm weaving it in and out. They love to bed around these trees. The reason why is crappie are cover oriented. They don't just bed around trees, but they love trees. They love trees because it's a good ambush point to feed and bed at the same time. Well, my goodness. I ain't bothering you. That old thing's mad, but I ain't done nothing to him. There's a fish. That fish right there thought I wasn't paying attention. Now this is a pretty good fish right here, pretty good crappie. Come on in here, let's see if we can flip him in. He thought I wasn't paying attention, but that's a male, he's black. Beautiful fish. Oh, he wasn't mad at me. I see now, there's a female back there. He's ate her. He can't help it. He is ate her. His hormones, he's all tore up, folks. Let's let this pretty fish go. Yep. Well, we got some fish behind us too. Now that fish wasn't on a treetop. He was just out there. There's a flat behind me. And I'm anchored in 11 feet of water. All right. And there's a ledge right here, then it tapers down. When it gets about midway of this cut, it turns into a flat. And that's what makes this an excellent place for crappie. I mean, they could spawn all the way back up in there. They could be several beds back there as far as I know. Now the reason I'm using a pink phantom is because it's overcast. The water's clear, but I have a lot of luck I catch a lot of fish with a pink phantom when it's overcast. It's actually, to me, it's more of a muddy watercolor or stained watercolor. But being it's overcast, I'm using a bright color. In my opinion, I catch more fish on a bright color in clear water on an overcast day. But I'm just keeping that bait about 2.5, 3 feet under the surface. That's what I did when I caught that last fish, reeling it slow. When it comes to casting, that's the best presentation. These fish ain't very deep at all. There's one. Golly, what a crappie. That fish hit it right. I'll explain what happened right there, folks. That's a big crappie. That's what we're after right there. We're gonna net him. That's a big son of a gun. Okay, and I'm gonna explain this. What I'm gonna explain is golly, what a fish. Woo, I got excited. Y'all excuse me. Golly. Man, oh man, hey, whoa, thank you, Lord. Look, listen to the birds, okay? Singing their happy melody of springtime. Whoa, it's spring. Whoa. Folks, that's a big fish right there. That's a big old pretty crappie. Looky there. Now, I'm in 21 feet of water right here. So, a short cast from the bank. We're on the main lake. What it is, there's a little ledge right there where that bluff begins. It's a transition point. And there's a ledge that comes out about 4 feet. The ledge is around, it comes out 4 feet, and it's about 3 to 4 feet there before it starts dropping off deep. Great place to look for these fish right here this time of the year. Often overlooked. But I did pattern some fish about 3 years on a bluff. Same situation. Where I caught several big fish like that and bigger using that pattern. It's a little bit complicated, but these are the fish that are overlooked this time of the year on main lakes. Definitely. Let's let him go. Woo. And the strike, he hit that, come off of that little ledge towards me 150 miles an hour. He did. I had to catch up to him before I could set the hook. Oh, that Clarence. He stinks. He don't never take a bath. Whoa! Oh, I get a lot of questions about high-vis line. And I have for years. Can't the crappie see it? Does it keep them from biting? Crappie's not line shy, folks. And those of y'all who's watched this channel for years know that. They're just not, even though they have remarkable eyesight, probably, I would say, better than a largemouth bass, they're still not line shy at all. Now, I'm just talking about a crappie. I've caught crappie in gin clear water, gin clear, without any problem, where you can see down 12, 14 feet with high-vis line. On a lot of, many different occasions. It just don't matter to a crappie. But when I make, every time I make a cast, my intentions is to catch one. So once it gets down there to the depth around 3, 4 feet, I'm going to bring it back slow. Then I get into a little trance. And then my intentions is to get that bite. I can almost feel a bite every time I turn that reel handle. Even though I don't get a bite every time. But I feel like that I need to, that I'm going to. Let me put it that way. That's the type of confidence that you will acquire when you start fishing a lot. You expect it at all times. I mean, just like that cast, okay, it's falling. Now, I'm paying attention. As it's falling, I'm watching for that line to hop. I'm on ready at all times. There he is. Had trouble catching up with that one. Look at that old thing right there. That's a fish eater cormorant bird there. But let's pay attention right here a little bit. That's a big crappie. Where are you going, boy? He wants to stay up under the boat. You look strange with that in your face. I'm gonna net that one. Let's net him. Quit. Golly, that's a good one right here. I'm going to explain another thing right here that I do to catch a lot of these crappie. And it's a simple thing. That's another good fish right there. Look how he eat that bait. Well, quit. Now, did he not eat it? Yeah. Oh, it just fell out right there. Okay, let's let him go. I'm going to explain something to you about these main lake fish. Now, right here we have a point. We have another one straight across from us. And there's a dip right here. Now, this point right here tapers from nothing on the bank down to around 4 feet, 4 or 5 feet of water. and then it kills off into about 15 or 20. Now, what I did right there, I positioned my boat to where I can make a parallel cast in that 4-foot zone. I let that drop jig fall about 3 feet. In other words, I was fishing about a foot off the bottom. But that parallel cast will ensure you catching more fish and finding them, because you're covering more water instead of throwing straight in. You know, the strike zone of that crappie may not be but about like that. And if they're really inactive, it's going to be like that. Or it could be a little bit bigger than that. It could be 5-6 foot in diameter. But by making a parallel cast, it's no different than fishing for bass. You're covering productive water and eliminating unproductive water by fishing in the depth of water that those fish are relating to. I hope that explained it. So what am I saying? I'm saying these fish are bedding anywhere between 4 and 5 feet deep. That's what I'm saying. Let's make another parallel cast. We're done past where I caught that fish. We're in this dip now. Same situation. Same situation. See there, that's how easy fishing can be if you'll look at it from a logical, simple way. And there's another crappie. You just have to determine how deep the fish are, whether they're bedding, whether it's winter time, spring, fall, summer. The depth of where you catch that first crappie really tells the story, folks. Let's let him go. Go on back. Well, folks, I'm going to shag out of here. It's raining. I mean, I'm talking about it's doggone raining. But it was surely a blessing to be out here. God's great outdoors. I want to say God bless each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for all the great comments. Here comes a good one. And, whoa, it's raining. I don't care if it's raining. And remember, go fishing when you can, because it's good for you.